Let's talk about boundaries. It is important to maintain boundaries for the sake of oneself, for the sake of our guests, and for the sake of our volunteers. Yes, maintaining boundaries is also important for the sake of your fellow volunteers. Likely, that's an aspect of boundary keeping that you haven't even considered. So let's explain how that is so. When a volunteer breaks boundaries, it's likely to result in confusion among the others with whom she or he works. After all, they were all presented with the same set of boundaries guidelines when they all began volunteering at Nightwatch. They all supposed everyone was agreeing to the same thing by signing that same piece of paper. So how is it that one volunteer seemingly thinks that the guidelines don't apply to them? If I overhear my fellow volunteer arranging to meet a guest outside Nightwatch because she thinks he's a great guy, why can't I invite a guest I know to coffee because I think he's a great guy? And then things can get really awkward for fellow volunteers when guests themselves notice the boundary violator's actions. Guests can use that knowledge to manipulate other volunteers. Hey, Sally snuck me an extra pair of socks when I asked her. Why don't you sneak me an extra pair of socks? Or, I can see that Sally is so much nicer to Bob than you are to me. Why can't you be as nice as Sally? Not only can this create discomfort among the other volunteers, it can result in friction between them and the offender as well. This is not working in common cause. This is disruptive to the team. It is simply not good. So in the end, it is important to maintain boundaries because it is good for yourself. It is good for our guests. And finally, it is being good to your fellow volunteers. Boundaries. Know what they are. Know what they mean. And then, for goodness sake, keep them.